So welcome to Joel Green Uncut. Yes, we're finally going to make this happen. We've had months of talking about it. We've had a couple of attempts and they've been shocking as well. But finally we are here. I've got a dear friend of mine, Robert Hernandez Jr. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show, Joel. It's an honor.
Honestly, it's a pleasure to have you on. Your smiley face lights up a room. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You've always got words of wisdom, and it's just been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and to become a good friend. So honestly, thank you very much for coming on. I know it's afternoon there, so I've probably got in the way of your lunch. So I won't keep you too long. but no, it's all good. How's things with you? How's the family?
Oh, family's good. It's just on day going, work, family. It gets really busy, but hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Would you have it any other way?
Yes. No.
Be careful. In case the wife watches it, that'll be the biggest fight you won't win.
Right? I won't win that
one. But honestly, it's not always been an easy ride. You've had sort of ups and downs and feeling like you're going on a roundabout sometimes, but that's life. So where did it all start for you? Because not many people know who you are, Robert. So we kind of got to give them a real introduction of who Robert Hernandez Jr. is.
Got you. Yeah. Like growing up in Salinas, California, where I grew up as a kid, it started with basically where I was about 10 years old, and I had a best friend of mine that lived next door, Jose Castañeda. And we used to get in so much trouble as kids. It got to the point that was like week to week that someone would bring me from somewhere else into my house, like at either 1 a.m, and I'm just 10 years old, jumping through the fence, through the window. Just bad. But we would just get into trouble. They always bring me back here. And one day a cop brought me, and then they knock on the door. My dad opens it, like, what did he do now? I was like, I just put my head down, and the cop was, well, we cut him outside around the vehicles, just looking around there. He was there with a couple people. And then after that, a week later, my grandma goes like, you know what, we're going to put this kid into baseball, just to keep away from trouble. And to tell you the truth, man, I was crying for weeks and weeks before the baseball practice happened. I was terrified because I don't know how to play baseball, but it kept me out of trouble. So the first day of practice there, we're practicing. I got hit in the face maybe 16 times in the face because I don't know how to catch the ball. And then after that, I went home. And I asked my grandma, why did you put me into baseball? She's like, well, it's either that or you want to get hit by a car or eaten by a bear. I'm like, Grandma, there's no bears out here in California. Go to the mountain, you'll see. You won't come back.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, fine. And then a week goes by.
She's got a point.
Yeah, she does have a point. And it goes, if that doesn't take you out, a rattlesnake take you out. I'm like, well, I've never seen one and I don't want to see one. But after that, I got used to playing baseball, and then my best friend next door, and I couldn't see him much anymore, So because we were used to get, since we're kids, since we're 5 years old, we've known each other, and I wouldn't see him anymore, and then we couldn't play as much as anymore, and he was a little sad, I couldn't see him, but I got better at the sport, and then he joined the following year. So we're both playing baseball, stayed away from trouble, away from everything, because a lot of us as kids growing up, when we got older in Salinas, California, a lot of people mask it like a bad city, because of the gangbang and all that, what's going on, or they call it ghetto. It's not really ghetto. Salinas is really beautiful. And what happened is that's the reason why we got out of it. My grandma wanted me to grow into that. So baseball was the key, to get out. And we played, and I got to the point that I got really, really good at it. I became a pitcher, so I had a ton of talent. And I remember one year, I think it was 1990, I think 92, when we won the whole thing. I went 9-0, 162 strikeouts, 0.89 ERA. And I was one of the best pitchers in the state of California. And I had scouts looking at me. I had for Stanford, UCLA, and I also had the Dodgers and the Giants. as a kid. I was throwing 92 miles an hour as a 15-year-old. And yeah, so that was going on. So the trouble was coming down a little bit. I still was a little Evel Knievel sometimes out in the mountains. I'll jump and I'll do my dumb things or land in cactus or, painful. But
As you do.
yeah, it was very painful. So there was this doghouse that my grandpa built for the poor dogs, and I'll be up there with the Superman cape. I was about maybe 10, 11 years old. And I already heard his Superman, and yep, straight to the hospital. I had
just no fear. Just no fear whatsoever.
Oh yeah, all of that. And there's a really cool story that when we used to go play baseball, like the Sandlot, I don't know if you ever heard about like the Sandlot, what they do, they get all these kids together and just play baseball, have fun. Right. But in Frank Paul School, back in 1991, we all got together. I was actually 92, the same year I was doing really good in baseball. We're all playing there, and then you got these bunch of little gangbangers, like Norteños, what we call them, X14. So they're there. Then we're all just looking at us, and then one guy comes up and like, "Hey, I know you, kid. You're that baseball player I read on the newspaper all the time, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." Like, man, keep it up. You got to keep us Chicanos up, Holmes. You got to do this. Do it for the Chicanos, Our pride, you could do it, Holmes. Forget about all this stuff. Leave gang to us. But you're going to make it big. And that was pretty cool because my best friend was laughing and stuff. He was there too. And so then I felt like I had to give to the community, and I had to get better at it. So I got better. I used to sleep with the baseball, my clothes, all of that. My dad would take me to the Red Lobster every week before my pitching day. So that conversation with him, it kind of changed me because I didn't take nothing for granted anymore, because I thought I was just like, for me, that I need to do something, just prove to myself. And then I said to myself, no, I got to prove more. I got to do this for the people of Salinas, because this hasn't been a pitcher in a long time, so I wanted to be that person, like, hey, I want them to look up to me, the little kids. And I used to do like autographs to little boys, they'll come up to me, and I'm only about 13, 14, 15 years old, and they're signing autographs already to me. I ended up signing them. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to do something that hasn't been done, is have a Chicano from Salinas go to the big leagues, And I remember years later, about a year after that, I pitched against this kid, big, tall kid, like 6'2", big catcher. I striked him out 8 times every time I faced him, right? And he ended up being drafted to the what was it? To San Diego Padres. He played for the Padres, cat backup or something like that, I heard. And for me, that same year, I blew out my arm in my freshman year in high school. Curveball kind of ended everything for me. And I got down, and I couldn't play a sport because I loved it so much. And my father would push me so much, yell at me across the field. It's like, one day I told my coach, get him out of here. Get my dad out of here. I can't deal with it. He's getting me nervous. Like, man, if I had a father like yours, I would have been a doctor. So he's good to have you there, because trust me, you're as good because of him. He was around your whole career and pushed you. But when that happened, Joe, it's like it tear me apart. And I didn't want nothing to do with baseball. I just shut down, started getting into trouble. We moved to Texas, and it was just bad. It was very bad. And then something like, as kids, because I was always around boxing too, but I didn't put too much into it because the God-gifted talent I had was baseball.
But it's weird, isn't it? Because I know there's a couple of questions. You obviously, when you were young, your nan put you into, put you in towards baseball. But why baseball? Because normally when someone's being a bit of an annoyance, a bit of an issue, a bit of a problem, we'll put it as that way. If someone's being like that, normally the route is boxing.
Yep.
Normally the route is going there because, it's good to get, anger out. It's good to channel your anger. It's good to, the training. It's got everything involved in it, isn't it? So baseball must have been a really obscure one when you had no link or interest to baseball whatsoever at the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, because like for me, like I said, I don't know, like my grandma's the one that forced me to get into the sport of baseball. I had uncles and my other friends would tell me, hey, boxing is right there. This is fun, in general. But something inside me told me that baseball was the way to go, and I was good at it. And with boxing, I was good at it too. I was very good at it because we used to have like kids come over and we'll just punch each other out in the backyard and the front yard. We'll be bleeding.
So maybe this is why your grandma pushed you away from boxing. It's because you were already knocking people out on your doorstep. But no, it's just interesting because obviously we don't. Baseball's not really a thing over here. That people do watch it, but it's not really much of a thing. It's a bigger thing with the NFL now. Over here, a lot of people, get stuck in with all the big events and all that side of things, and it's shown a bit more over here. But baseball's still a bit of a ghost sport over here for the UK fans. So to get the mention of baseball is really interesting when, as I say, boxing is kind of at the forefront of anyone who's been a bit of an awkward one and they need something to get into to get it out their system. But obviously that came next. Boxing was the next thing. Obviously you blew your arm out, which, as you say, that was horrendous because, by the time you'd really captured the spirit of baseball, you then felt a purpose towards baseball as to where you were heading, what you could achieve, who you were going to do it for, not just for yourself, but, to get a bit of recognition for where you're from. And then all of a sudden that comes crashing down. And as you say, at the age that you were, that must have been really hard to take because that's the time of when you start to flourish and grow, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why I said, like after that happened, I got into so much trouble. It's like when I moved to Texas, it got pretty bad that I was like, sometimes I get into fights, fist fights and hang around there. And I lived in Mexico because my grandma was passed, she was like really sick. So we had to move out there and I didn't know how to speak Spanish. And I go out there, we're out there for about 6, 7, 8 months. And I'll be like fighting with a lot of people out there sometimes because I don't know how to speak the language, and I was learning it little by little. And I remember one of my cousins, he goes like, go tell this girl this, and I'm like, no, that does not sound right. He's like, just say that. That means please, please help me. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But in year 7, I'm 17, I'm naive. So there you go, me. I go and tell her like, yeah, that was my first left cross I ever felt before I started getting into boxing. I think that's what turned me into boxing when I realized that left cross was pretty good. To this day, I still feel it. But and that's why I started learning it more, and I got more into fights and then stuff. And then one day my friend calls me up like, hey, bro, how about you get back into boxing? We'll pay for everything, we'll give you all this nutritionist and all that. We'll get you all the best people. We'll get you down. And I go like, bro, I'm 280 pounds right now. When I used to box, I was 147. It's like,
What age were you then? What age were you then, Robert?
I was 21 years old.
And you were, how much did you weigh?
280, 85 pounds, so almost 290.
Wow.
I know, I just let myself go. It was pretty bad. It's like the donut shop was the best for me, It's like I said, I walked in as Timon going to Mexico, and I came out as Pumbaa.
That is one of the best descriptions, I have to say. But as you say, it must have hurt. You've gone through that time. You've then put yourself into, you don't mind me saying, you've gone through that stage of eating. You're almost depressed because you've come away from that side of things and you've had to go into eating and doing the wrong stuff again. But then you obviously then found yourself around good people again that were trying to point you in the right direction, get you into the gym, give you a nutritionist, point you in the right direction. And very blessed to have those people around you at that time.
Yeah, I had like for me, like I never
that could have gone very wrong, couldn't it? That could have gone very, very wrong.
Yeah, because I had a good friend of mine, Brian Lund, out in Wilbur, Minnesota, that kind of helped me. Because, like, for me, I'm the person that keeps everything in. You're never going to know anything, or if I'm falling apart or not, I'm never going to say it. And I don't share, pretty much. So I keep it all to myself. And, like, for me, you could see me, like, in the streets, I'll just be smiling to everybody. I never show my emotions to anybody. So inside, I'm dying. But at the outside, I'm showing what I was supposed to show. It's like, for me, why show negativity in the outside when you could show light, you know, so you could help other people out. If someone's feeling down, you don't want to feel your same kind of energy. It's like, hey, you know what? I feel like this, I'm down, and I'm going to show him that. Why the point? So I'm not helping that person. Like, for me, I'd rather help than help myself in the inside, if it makes any sense. But, like, for me, it's a victory. If they get better and I'm still dying inside, that's fine. Cause I know I'm going to find the light someday. It's going to take time, but I'll find it because I'm strong. And, like, for
Yeah,
Brian
yeah.
Lund, when I met him, and this is when I got back into boxing because of him. I was like 285 pounds when I met him, and he's like, Rob, man, we got to get you down. And then from there, I went from 285 to 245. I got all the way down to 245. We're training, we're talking, and he tells me, because, like, Brian Lund, he boxed for a lot of years. He had over 200. No, he told me about 300 amateur fights, and he only had 10 losses out of the whole 300. Yeah, that's pretty good record. Big
That's a
white
guy you
guy,
don't want to.
big
That's a
fist.
guy you don't want to get a punch off
No,
either.
no, and his fists, like two of mine put together. He was a big dude, big boy, but awesome heart. A lot of people didn't know him like that. A lot of people had him for he was a troublemaker. No, because this is the thing. You cannot. How can I say it? You can't judge someone by their cover. You got to get to know them. There's a lot of people that could be like show you violence, but in reality, they're like a teddy bear in the inside. They're good people. They just don't trust everybody. They think other people just see what they see and they want to call it. You don't do that. You get to know the person. Like me, I like to get deep and learn the person. And that's me. I look, and I see, and I don't judge and judge because I'm not God to judge. Be judge, judge, be judged. That's me. I don't like to judge people. And for him, I got to the point that we got really good at it. And then, like, Robert, you know what? Let's start a boxing gym together. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. And I was excited. Within 2 years later, when we're getting closer to all of it, because he got a little store going out in Minnesota, and I was happy we kept on talking. And one day he calls me up, hey, bro, I got bad news. I'm like, what's wrong? I got colon cancer. I'm like, are you kidding me? I go, you're only 36 years old, bro. And then we have plans, this makes no sense. And now I got angry because he was such a close friend of mine. It's like, who catches colon cancer at 36 and then passes away within 6 months after that? Yeah, I saw him in the hospital. I wanted to break down and cry, and I really don't like to. I don't show it a lot to anybody, but that day it hurt so bad because I'll bring them boxing books, I'll bring them little magazines, like the Ring they used to have back in the day. Now they have it again. I'll give it to him or just keep talking about boxing until one day I went back to the hospital and then he was gone. He just passed away. And there goes the whole boxing thing again. And like with baseball, how it happened when I shut down again. I just didn't care for anything anymore because I go like, for me, I thought like, you know what, everything I try to accomplish in life, something bad happens. It's like something that keeps following. It's like first my arm goes out and then my good friend dies. It's like something trying to keep me away, from either being successful or trying to get to where I want to get to in life. And then like some of us, we blame the world, we blame God, and for me, I had a lot of resentment towards that. And then I just shut down. And then about 6 years later after that, when he passed away, there was this girl at work's like, hey, I got her husband, wanted to do boxing. He did boxing for many years. I'm like, I don't want to deal with boxing no more. I'm done with that. I'm done with baseball. I'm done with boxing. I don't want to do nothing with it. I'm sick of it. She goes, no, just check it out. Just hear him out. So he came, he talked to me, and then I took him out, and then we started training him. And then it brings something inside of me, that I thought it was gone, forever. I felt like, wow, this is my calling, It's trying to tell me don't give up, Boxing is what you are now, You can't do baseball no more because there's certain reasons because your arm, but boxing is there for you now because that's what you're good at. You always have been, but you never chose that path, I never chose it. I chose baseball over boxing because I thought it was the right thing to do. But for me, like, it always followed, boxing always followed, because every time I try to give up, something comes to me with boxing. Somebody calls me about boxing or emails me about boxing, or, hey, guess what? This about boxing. It just doesn't leave me, you know? I try to divert to get away from it. To like, you know what? I'll just give up and no more. I'm sick of this, you know? I'm done. I can't keep going, you know? And then something always happens that it brings me back. It brings the joy back, you know? It just keeps coming because it's always has been in me.
Yeah, yeah. And as I say, it's one of those, isn't it, where, as you say, the fact that every time you feel you're just getting somewhere or you're making it into a path, it seems to get narrower, and then you just hit a roadblock. And then it's then overcoming that one to move on to the next thing, and then it happens again. And for you to then pick yourself up for a third time, which is never easy. You know, I've been down roads where I've lost people. I've been down roads where, you know, I've had those difficulties. I always found that, you know, the same as you, Robert, I think that's probably why we get on, is you try and make sure that others are okay. You always try and make sure that other people are happy and they're pleased and that they're doing well at your own expense. Because, you know, I myself, I'll beat myself up probably to the day I die, the same as yourself, because you know the level you should be at. You know the level you should be working towards and where you should be pushing yourself to. But if someone else is struggling, you put that on the back burner to push that person to get them to where they need to be, because you want to see other people succeed rather than yourself. Not that you don't want to see yourself succeed, but you take more joy in seeing others doing well, knowing that, do you know what, I'll just muddle my way through. I'll be okay. And you know, has that ever changed for you as you've got older? Has that sort of mentality shift changed as you've become a wiser man? Has that changed for you in the way that you act, or do you still sort of put yourself to one side for others?
No, it's kind of weird. It's like I'm the same guy, but wiser and older. But I still feel good when other, like my friends are succeeding or other people. Because for me, because I know if I, let's just say, like, if I start going the different route and start saying like, well, I'm gonna be greedy, well, I'm gonna be like all hateful, you know, towards that person. Oh, why he made it, not me, you know? Why is this person doing that? Why not me? You know, why this is not me? So I'm not gonna win nothing with that, you know?
I mean more along the lines of, you know, when you turn around, you said that, you know, you hurt, but you didn't want to show other people the hurt. You know, you wanted to almost try and suppress that to see other people happy. Have you dealt with, because I don't want to upset you or anything like that, but have you dealt with the loss and the difficult times that you've had? Have you dealt with that in your life, or do you still feel that that's kind of on the back burner and you're kind of still struggle with that occasionally?
Yeah, I kind of just still have that. I still have that. For most of the times I do go on, you know, with a happy face. You know, I just don't, like I said, I still have that. I don't show it much. The only one that will see most of that of me, it will be my wife, Rochelle. And for me, I show her everything because sometimes most people say you got to talk about things, you know, do this and yada, you get better. And I go like, well, I'm not gonna pay a therapist $500,000 just to tell me like the same thing I already know, you know. So I just talk to my wife because she will understand me more than a person with a paper and a pen, you know, and who's educated about it, but they don't know really about life, you know. And for me, I'll tell her everything and I feel better about it. There's times that I do feel like I want to break, you know, but I do not because I know, like I said, like I told my wife, you know, God didn't make us cowards, you know, and I'm not a coward. So he made us strong, you know. If you look my way, you know, he will help, you know. So my thing is like whenever I felt that way, like I'm almost about to break, I always look up to the heavens and I just keep staring. I don't say no words. I just look up and I just stay there just staring. And I'm like, take a deep breath, like, yep.
Yeah.
And I just
I
keep walking.
need help now.
Yeah, I need help now.
Yeah.
So I just do my smile, and sometimes, and, in life, many people just don't get the certain things of signs and stuff like that. Like for me, I pay attention because for us, like, let's say like you're going through hard times, and you're walking around the street and then you do something bad without thinking twice, doing something right instead of just thinking hard about something, right? Because the thing about life is like when you need something, you need to pay attention because there could be a person in the street that tells you a certain thing you needed to hear,
Yeah.
like I tell my wife, like God uses people, it's like, it's either going to be a random person, or it's going to be anybody, that's out there, or a cousin or a brother, whoever. And then you're like there, you're feeling bad. You're thinking about, oh man, life is horrible and this, and all of a sudden someone says a certain thing you had to hear. You're like, well, it's not that bad, You just got to pay attention to it, because sometimes we don't pay attention because we're all in grief, we're all in anger, we're all in sadness, we're all emotional, and we don't take the time to clear our mind and just like, you know what, take a step back, take a step back, because there's no reason why to tell other people bad things, because words could kill, You just got to be careful with that, towards people. And for me, I think twice, and I just take a step back, I take a deep breath, like, you know what, maybe it's not always about me, it's about other people. I need to put other people too ahead, It's like the goal is to become a good person within yourself, and then if you could get that, and feel better about for other people, and then you can actually love yourself, When you start loving yourself, you can love back, That's the thing, because if you don't love yourself and you're doing all this other stuff, angry, and just thinking about why me, why everybody's this, it's like, no. If you could get to that point that you feel like you start loving yourself first, and then you can love back, the greatest things you could have in life.
Yeah. No, as I say, you end up walking around resenting, and you can't hide that. You can't hide it, because if it's to your core, that you show what's in your core, don't you? You reflect also the people that are around you. Like you were saying, if you were mucking around with people when you were younger, if you're hanging around with people that are doing bad things, you end up doing bad things. If you hang around with people that are being positive and pointing you in the right direction and doing the right things, then you tend to follow that. You are, they say, don't you? You become what you surround yourself with. And if you surround yourself with good people, you can easily become a good person, because that's your surrounding. You've been nothing but a joy to me, Robert, to be perfectly honest. And you say, you're a man that smiles all the time. Every time we video call, you've got the biggest grin on your face. And you're just, an absolute joy to be around. I have to say quickly, and we'll put this in the notes at 28 minutes, 15 seconds, is your wife is a remarkable woman. She's an incredible woman. She is the heartbeat, isn't she, of the family. And, I just want to give a big shout out to her if she watches this. She's just an incredible person. You've got an amazing family. And I think that the same as myself, we're both very blessed men. And the fact that we do have those makes such a big difference, because I couldn't do it alone. I'm the same as you. We couldn't do it alone. We've got God in our lives, but He's blessed us with an amazing family that keep us afloat as well. Because I wouldn't be able to do it without my wife and kids. I can tell you that now. The journey you've been on is unbelievable. You're still on the journey, because great things are happening. The position you're in now, the family you've got now. What's ahead for Robert Hernandez Jr.? This is what people want to know, because obviously they've heard now about the background, where we've got to, the loss, the difficulty, the rise again, and where are we at now, Robert? What's happening in your life now?
Oh, a lot of things. It's coming slowly. but I could see it. I could see it from afar. And sometimes I feel like some people go like, man, how's things you think you're gonna get to where you're gonna get to? I'm like, yeah, I'm patient because I know it's coming. It's coming, and a lot of great things are coming with it. And so I said, I'm around a lot of good people. A lot of people call me, for boxing or for this and that. And for me, I feel that big things are coming. I know they're coming, and I'm going to be part of that. And I'll be working with certain people, and certain people will be calling me, and I'll be working with them. And I know I get the job done right. I negotiate right. I talk to people right. I'm good with people, and I'm straightforward, and I'm honest. I'm not dishonest. And I do care about every single person that is involved in the professional boxing. And I treat everybody with respect. And a lot of people that know me will say the same thing, how I am. You could read me. I'm like a book. I'm not gonna. Yeah. You're not gonna change the page. It's like, oh, that guy's horrible. That's the wicked guy of the West. No, you're not gonna hear that because, like, for me, it's like I like it to feel that I know what nothing will never come back. That's me. I want nothing to ever come back to me. It's like, well, this, that. No, because you can't. And even if there's a liar that tries to come up with some lies, like, try ahead because you're not going to do anything. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's nothing. I'm well protected. So I'm real taken care of. God protects me, and I got the fear of God, so I'm good. So I don't have to worry about none of that coming back to me because I know everything that I do, what I can do, what I try to do, excuse me, is good. I try to do it as my best of my ability. And great things are coming, maybe the end of this year or the following year. And that will be continued. I won't say anything yet. I just let everything show when you start seeing things.
I love this. Is going to be like the grand reveal. Like when we'll obviously end up having Robert on again, because when it obviously does go down and stuff starts happening, I know Robert's going to be absolutely buzzing to come on and talk about it. But until that happens, we're going to have just a question mark over everything. But all we will say is it's exciting times ahead. There's some great times ahead for Robert. Honestly, I'm so pleased that great things are coming your way. You're a great guy and you deserve it. And it's an absolute pleasure knowing you and having you as a support as well for me. The same goes for you, Robert. I'm always on the end of the phone. So it's an absolute pleasure. But before I let you go, I've got to chuck something at you before you go. Obviously, Canelo versus Terence Crawford is coming up. You're not linked with this one whatsoever, are you?
No, not in this one.
Right. Sorry that you're not, but good in another way. Yeah, this is a massive fight. Massive fight. Must be huge over in the States for as big as it gets, isn't it? This fight.
Oh yeah, it's big. It's big.
Where are you on this one? What is your prediction? Canelo versus Crawford. I'd give you mine, but the show's all about you. And that's my crafty way of getting out of it.
Man, as
you
a
thought
fan,
you got away with it. You thought you got away with it, didn't it?
Yeah. As a boxing fan, as a fan like the rest, boxing fan, I love Crawford. I'm a Crawford fan. I love Crawford, the way he is, the way he does for his, everything he does out there. But as a boxing person, I'll be going with Canelo Alvarez because this is why they make a weight division, right? You got Crawford going up 3 weight divisions. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. I'd rather, to be honest, I'll love to have Crawford win because I love Crawford. Not saying nothing towards Canelo, but as a realist, I'll be going Canelo. I want Crawford to win, to be honest. I love Crawford to death, but I would have to go Canelo.
It's the jump, isn't it? It's the jump in weight. We've seen it multiple times, haven't we, with people? But we've also seen people do it, and they've been a success. Roy Jones Jr., Manny Pacquiao. We've seen these people jump the divisions and make a success of themselves?
True.
Can he not do it?
It is Canelo, though. That's the thing. It's Canelo. It's not nobody. It's Canelo. You got the pound for pound king too. And Crawford's pound for pound too. You see, like for me, I got this fight as a 50-50 fight, but because of the weight difference is going up and he's not taking a fight before the Canelo fight. Canelo's been fighting 168 for a long time now. And the thing that I see that Canelo didn't look so great in his last fight, right? Let's just say, what if that's just a little bait? So
yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I think boxing.
I think in another way though, Canelo's never fought anyone like Crawford.
No, I love the fight, except Mayweather.
And yeah, but I think that was early on, wasn't it? It was early on for
early.
Canelo.
It was like, I think he was 21 years old when he fought him.
Yeah,
but I said, I'm hoping for Crawford, though. I'm rooting for Crawford, but I have a feeling that Canelo's going to win.
So almost fence sitting slightly, but just hanging over towards Canelo.
Yes, towards Canelo. Because, like I said, I love Crawford, but I'm hoping him to win. I'm hoping Crawford to win. I'm rooting for Crawford, but something tells me Canelo's going to get it.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. So before we let you go, let's end on a good one. What advice would you give to someone who's hit that hard time? They've always seen that their goal would be baseball or basketball or soccer in your case, and all these different things, but the dream sort of hits a wall because of injury or loss or for whatever reason. What advice could you give to that person?
I told him that, just keep pushing forward. Things are going to happen up and down. Adversity is always there. Negativity will be around a lot. You hear bad things, what you're going to hear more bad, what you're going to hear good. And it just depends on you, who you're going to be, how you're going to bounce back, how you're going to get hit in the head and keep pushing forward. It's like, what do you want to be remembered by? Who are you going to be? Because at the end of the day, when there is darkness, there is always light. Just find the light.
Lovely. Honestly, Robert, thank you very much for your time. It's an absolute pleasure having you on, as always. I think the absolute world of you. Love to your family and to your close friends. And we will have a catch up soon. You've been watching Robert Hernandez Jr. And thank you for watching Joel Green Uncut. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the rest of the content and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much, Robert. Take care. God bless.
You too. Bye-bye.